Did you know the Canadian patent for the drug Ozempic, it's set to expire January 2026? That's not far in the future. And after that date, cheaper generic versions of the drug will become available here in Canada. So here to talk more about what that means, we have someone who understands the benefits and understands the side effects of the drug too. Tom Elliott is the medical director at BC Diabetes. Tom Elliott, very good afternoon to you.
Good afternoon, Gloria. By the way, I'm a peach guy.
I was going to ask you, but okay, you jumped the gun on that.
It's a close call, but you described the dripping juice thing with peaches, and that's why it gets my vote. Oh,
have you ever tried them on the barbecue? Just a lightly grilled, just half them, take the pit out, and just give it a little bit of a sear, and serve it with some ice cream. It is heavenly. Absolutely heavenly. Okay, let's get down to business here. For people who might not be familiar with this drug, what is Ozempic used for?
Gloria, Ozempic, with which the scientific name is semaglutide, it is used in my office. I'm a diabetes specialist. It's used to treat type 2 diabetes. It's very good at that because it increases the amount of insulin someone's body releases with food. And secondly, it reduces appetite and makes people feel full, so they eat less and lose weight. And when you lose weight, your diabetes improves. So Ozempic is the most amazing drug for diabetes.
I see. What would be the difference between Ozempic and another drug we hear a lot about, Wegovy?
They are both semaglutide. Ozempic is branded for diabetes, and Wegovy is branded for obesity, simple obesity. They're the same drug.
What have you seen just over the last even 5 years in terms of uptake on these drugs?
Gloria, the class of drugs currently represented by Ozempic and Mounjaro, which we'll talk about in a moment, have absolutely revolutionized my practice. They're astonishingly effective. So now there's an option that works for nearly everybody. Only about 1 in 20 people can't take these drugs because of nausea and vomiting. The other 19 do really well. Their sugars are better, their weight is better, their blood pressure is better. They feel better about themselves. It sounds like I'm an advertisement for the drug. They're just the most fantastic drugs.
But fantastic how you mentioned that for some it can cause nausea, that type of thing. What are the potential side effects?
Well, the nausea and vomiting that goes with it sometimes are by far the commonest side effect. Occasionally people will get diarrhea or constipation. And really some people get heartburn, but that's about it. All the scare stories you hear about permanent this and permanent that and class actions, I don't think the science is there. I just don't buy into that.
Okay. So we're talking today about changes coming early next year. And we're talking January, when a cheaper version of both these medications is set to enter the market. So that would make them more accessible, of course, to the general public. Just how accessible are they now? Can you give us a comparison?
Well, they're as accessible as family doctors are willing to write prescriptions. So I think we all know somebody who doesn't have diabetes who's on Ozempic or Wegovy and has done really well. I've read various statistics that more people are taking these drugs for obesity than there are for diabetes, and I think it's by and large a good thing, Gloria. The drugs are so effective. Prior to this class of drug, there was nothing that worked, and the things that worked weren't safe. So, this class of drug is here to stay, and we're going to see more and more drugs in the same class. All the drug companies, even the one that's lost its patent, is developing new drugs that will be probably better. And with new drugs and more drugs, there's competition and lower prices. So, for me as a diabetes specialist, it's just the most wonderful thing.
And what will it mean overall? I mean, just in terms of accessibility for the diabetic community.
Yeah, well, right now, Ozempic is covered by BC Pharmacare, but it's subject to the BC Pharmacare deductible, which ultimately is around 4% of net income, whatever your income is on line 33255 of your taxes, that pharmacare requires you pay 3.5% of that before you get any coverage. So lots of British Columbians don't have extended medical, and they're making, maybe they're making $100,000 a year, but they've still got a deductible of $3,000. So even though pharmacare covers it, they may not hit their deductible until, October or November of each year. So if, when Ozempic goes generic, the prices are going to plunge, and more people will be able to pay it out of pocket. It'll be cheaper to pay it out of pocket than to pay off your deductible. Or maybe with the changes that are coming with national pharmacare, maybe the province will agree to fully cover Ozempic. Gloria, March 2026, national pharmacare hits. All diabetes drugs other than Ozempic are covered. That policy is set federally, and then the provinces sign on. British Columbia has signed on, but Ozempic won't be covered. So the timing with the patent lapsing and national pharmacare is a very good one. Very good for my patients. Okay.
Well, Tom, and I know you are a diabetes specialist, but we have heard concerns from eating disorder specialists, and they say that the proliferation of the weight loss drug here could present a risk to their patients. I mean, how do physicians take that into consideration when they're screening patients?
Well, a good medical history does include questions around eating habits, and if the doctor's established good connection with the patient might just tell them that they binge or use laxatives or have one of the eating disorder type patterns. And of course, the approach to that is to treat the underlying disorder, which is all tied up in the psyche with anxiety and stuff that I don't really know about. But these drugs actually still help. They suppress the desire to eat. And so while they're not the solution, they are part of the solution in many cases.
Overall, what would you like to see with these drugs, these generic drugs?
I'd like them to be dirt cheap so everybody who needs them can afford them.
That simply. And you think that's coming?
Well, we'll see. We'll see how many different manufacturers jump in. The prices that were reported on the CBC app this morning were wrong. Ozempic's about $7 a day, so let's say $220 counting dispensing fee a month. In the US, they're much higher, so $220. If they get under $100 a month or $3 a day, that's kind of in the affordability zone for most working people, I would say.
Okay.
So if we can get the price down there, that will be a big deal.
Okay, we'll keep our eye on that for sure. Tom, thank you very much for your time.
My pleasure, Gloria.
Enjoy the peaches this summer. That's Tom Elliott, the medical director at BC Diabetes.